An informational interview is when you seek out someone that either holds a position that you're interested in or shares the same interests as you, possibly took the same career path if they have their PhD in a certain program you're interested in, for example, or hold a position in an office setting that you're very interested in seeking out for the future. So for young professionals, I think it's a great tool. You can contact those individuals directly or through their assistant, whatever the means of communication might be, and just ask if you can have a few minutes of time just to find out more about them personally. So that way, if you approach it that way, it's not threatening. You're not coming into them and asking for a job per se, but hopefully, it'll lead to more open doors in the future. But I always recommend students taking their resume with them. That way they can leave that, or if they have business cards made up, which is another great tool for networking that all students should have. And now there's so many free ways to do that online that they can create a business card for themselves while they're in school or at their internship. So that's something else they should take with them. There's a lot of things online. If you just Google for informational interviews, so you can get some questions to ask the employer when you go there, if you don't have any that really personally, but it should be someone that you personally feel like you would have a connection with, whether as far as interests in the workplace or their education path that they chose. So you would go to their office. It's best if you can meet in person. Sometimes that can't happen, but hopefully that would be the first step. And even just 10 to 15 minutes of their time is a great way just to get your foot into that agency or networking within that person. And then it's always great if they have someone else they can put you in touch with, one of their colleagues or friends, that after speaking with them, they usually will say, here's another great person for you to talk to, and then there's another person that you can speak with. And then if you can leave your resume or your business card, so when you are actively looking for a job, you can contact them back and just quickly follow up with them and say that now you're in the job search actively, and is there any openings in your office or possibly in another office of one of their colleagues. And never forget to write a thank you note after, even nowadays email is fine, but if you can write a personal thank you card, that always just kind of shows. I know when I get a personal thank you card now, it's much better than just getting, a thank you over email. So I think that's really key for any type of informational interview, whether informational or definitely in a regular interview as well.
There's several different tools that an intern or a new hire has in learning their way around the office, around the culture of their agency, and that's the informational interview. The informational interview is actually one of the most important tools that anyone can use in order to further their career and to further their knowledge base. And what that is normally a 30-minute conversation with someone who either works in the field that you wish to know about, or has a sort of position that you wish to have in your particular future. The thing about the informational interview is it allows you to interact with a person that can give you information on growing your personal career. Now, what you want to do first is you want to identify the sort of people that you wish to talk to. In the case of Washington, D.C., perhaps that might be a senator, or perhaps that might even be the secretary. Now, you might not always get access to a high-ranking official, but in cities like Washington, D.C., as long as you're willing to make an appointment and wait at least 2 weeks, you can talk to almost anyone that you wish. The second thing is, once you've identified the person and made your initial appointment, is prep. You have to make sure that you go in prepared to ask questions, and they need to be substantive questions to prove that you're not wasting this person's time. Before anything, we all have to do our homework. In your informational interview, if you want it to be a good conversation where the person feels that they can give you good information, you need to have already done the preliminary work. And then thirdly, once you have your informational interview, one of the most important things you can do is follow up with a thank you note. A thank you note will give you an opportunity to not only say thank you for your time, but also maybe ask an additional question that you left out in your interview. And for most leaders, for most people that you will interview with, a thank you note will really, really make a big difference. Oftentimes, these are going to be professionals. These are going to be people who work in these fields for long amounts of time, and no one's ever said thank you to them. So a thank you note can take you a very long way.